So I have to remake this review of the NRSV XL edition with the Apocrypha. And this one has extra large type, and it gives an example right there. But of course, we're going to look inside of it and you can see it better. But this is the height. It's not too tall. And this is the width book. And it's not in hardcover. I don't know if they have hardcover format for this, but it's not paperback exactly. It's something like imitation leather. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something like that. But I'll tell you from my experience from looking at these words, when you open it up and you just look at it, from my experience, the words are big enough that I don't have to lean down and look at the print, the text, the font. I couldn't say it wouldn't come out. But yeah, that's good. I do like that. That was my experience. So maybe this isn't big enough for everybody, but this is pretty up there for me. Like they do have bigger print sizes out there that I found, but I've never gotten a hold of one of those Bibles yet. But maybe one day, God willing, I will and be able to review it. But just know it's out there. And I'm surprised how big the fonts get, the print size. It's pretty good. I keep saying print size. Am I saying that properly? The fonts, the text, the words. Anyway, so let's get into the review. So it does come with one bookmark, which I do value, even though it's a small thing. But I do value that. So whoever does that, I value that. Appreciate that. Okay, so anyway, we're going to look at Judges 18:30. And it's right over here. So it says, Then the Danites set up the idol for themselves, Jonathan, son of Gershom, son of Moses, and at the sea, and we'll check it out later. It says, and his sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until the time the land went into captivity. So if we come down to the sea, it says another reading is son of Manasseh. And that is valuable even though it's a small thing. It's valuable because some of the Bibles I used to read did not tell me this. You know, my main first two Bibles did not tell me that. I found out when I was reading with a Jehovah's Witness one day. And in either his or mine, they differed on the word Moses or Manasseh. I can't remember if it was mine or his that said, Moses or Manasseh, but his said one word and mine said the other. And I'm like, wait a minute. Mine say this. Yours say that? And so we was like, or I know I definitely was like, why does yours say this and mine say that? So I end up, looking into it, and it brings me to this. And I probably don't show this a lot, but this is where the problem is. So if you look at Judges 18:30 in the manuscript or the Hebrew text, the Masoretic text, this is what you will see. So this is Judges 18:30. I want to show y'all, make sure, this is what it is. I got this part highlighted. Jonathan, son of Gershom, son of. Now this one says son of Manasseh, and there's a D next to it. So we'll check that out too. And it says Hebrew, and it shows the the word there, which is the name. And the letters are, I'm going to just say it in English. I'm going to say each letter in English for you. From right to left is M, N, S, H. And the N is the second letter they call it suspended above the line. Before I read those names, I'm going to just keep reading everything. So it says Hebrew with the N suspended, indicating an earlier reading Moses, and it says Exodus 2:22. So without that N, it would be Moses in English, and with the N, it would be Manasseh. So it's a controversy behind this, and this is why in all my reviews now I come to Judges 18:30, and I check to see what does it say. And depending on what it say, I'll say my opinion, based on all the information, it should be Moses. And when you read the commentaries on this, it says that the Masoretes or whoever was responsible for that, they put the N above, they suspended it above the line to try to cover up that Moses had that he had an idolatrous grandson. And you can check it out, but now you know if I never said it, why I always check this to see what they put here. So the highlighted part is in Hebrew, the main phrase that says Gershom, son of Moses, without the N that they have suspended above the line. And I'm sorry that took so much time, but basically now you know why I always come here. So anyway, you get to see it in the Hebrew, you get to find out a little bit of information about it. Now in English, if you don't have a Bible that's a study Bible with some good, information at the bottom or on the side or whatever, you probably just read right over that and didn't know at all, which is what happened to me years ago. So now we're going to 1 Kings, and we're going to check out what they got right here to see if they got this right. All right, let's see what we got here. So I'm sorry. Did I say Hebrews? I don't know why I said Hebrews. 1 Kings 15. We're going to read 1 through 2. So it says, now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abijam began to reign over Judah. He reigned for 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. And we're going to go to verse 8 and read through 10. So right here, it says, Abijam slept with his ancestors, and they buried him in the city of David. Then his son Asa succeeded him. In the 20th year of King Jeroboam of Israel, Asa began to reign over Judah. He reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. Now, if you didn't catch it, I'm going to tell you what it is. It said that Abijam was, matter of fact, I'm going to read it so you can re-catch up if you didn't catch it. So it says that after King Jeroboam, son of Nebat, it says Abijam began to reign over Judah. Keep his name in mind. And then it says he reigned for 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. So Asa's mom is Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. Now Abijam's son Asa comes in right in verse 8, I believe. Yeah. It says that Abijam slept with his ancestors and they buried him in the city of David. Then his son Asa succeeded him. So Asa's his son. Should make Maacah, daughter of Abishalom, his grandmother. But that's not what it said. It said that his mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. So I always check this too, because when I read this, I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute. Either something's wrong or that should be his grandmother. Like, how can the dad and the son have the same mom? Did they, that was just weird. And the Hebrew says what it says. It says that Abijam was, it says Abijam was the dad of Asa. It says Asa was his son. It says that. So the issue comes in, it's a slight issue, very, very slight. It's just the understanding and the translating of the people who translated it. The word for mother and grandmother is the same Hebrew word. So all they had to do was make the change for us to not be confused and say that Maacah was his grandmother and not his mother. That's it. It's just a word change for our understanding in English. So when we come to it, we won't be confused. But you probably didn't even catch that. So let's move on. So now, let's see what else we got. So this is a benefit if you get this book. Psalm 145. They restored the missing verse back to the text that they found in certain manuscripts, one of them being the Dead Sea Scrolls. So it's around verse 13. It's right here. I'm going to bring it in closer. This is the missing verse right here. It says, I'm gonna read the whole thing so you can see the missing part too. You can check your Bible and see if yours got this. A lot of them don't. But it says 13 in Psalm 145. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. Here's the restored verse. The Lord is faithful in all his words, and gracious in all his deeds. And has a C next to it. And then the C says, these two lines supplied by Qumran manuscripts, Greek and Syriac. So those are the manuscripts that they have to support that missing verse. So they restored it back to the text. Not all Bibles are doing that, but the NRSV, they do that. In a lot of their Bibles. I don't know about all of them, but in a lot of them. So that's a benefit. You'll get that back. Now, here is something in the Apocrypha. If you like the book of Esther or love it or whatever you think about it, this might be something that may interest you. Now, the Apocrypha has the rest of Esther. It's not complete without this. It's about 6 more chapters to Esther. So if you want to read the entire book of Esther, if you get this, you'll have that. You'll have that too. And I don't know if people know, but it's a thing going around that God isn't mentioned in the book of Esther. But as soon as you start reading the rest of Esther, God is mentioned. And it's really good. I don't want to get into too much of it, but it starts saying you just gotta read it for yourself. I'll say this and I'll move on. If you want me to read the rest of Esther, you can let me know in the comments, and we can do that on YouTube live. But I'll also say this before I go to the next one. Look, there it is right there. Then they cried out to God. So, yeah, you should definitely read it. I recommend it. But here's another thing in the Apocrypha. This is Sirach, a.k.a. Ben Sira, a.k.a. Ecclesiasticus. And in the last chapter, chapter 51, I believe this is the last chapter, yeah. After verse 12, they have restored about 16 missing verses from a medieval manuscript to this book. And I don't know if all translations and versions are doing this, but I do know that the NRSV does it. So if you want those additional verses, the NRSV has it in their Apocrypha. I don't know about every NRSV that has the Apocrypha, but I think they would. I can't say, because I haven't gotten a hold of all their Bibles. They have a lot. But here's another benefit. This is also in the Apocrypha. This is 2nd Esdras or 4 Ezra, depending on what book you have and how they would like to title this. But in chapter 6, around verses 47 through 53, the main 2 verses are 49 and 51. We have a correction here, I believe. So let me get to it. This is 49. That's one of the main verses. I'll start at 47. So you can kind of get the context. So it says, on the 5th day, you commanded the 7th part. And I'll just say, this is talking about creation. Talking about on the 5th day. So it says, you commanded the 7th part, where the water had been gathered together to bring forth living creatures, birds and fishes. And it was so. Now I will say this, even though this is not a hardcover, I don't have much trouble when as an example, I'm going to just do this real quick. When I flip it, it lays flat. I'm sorry, just so y'all can see it. My bad, I'm going to do it one more time. It lays flat, so I'm not having a problem like I would with a paperback. So far, I just want y'all to see that. I'm not having to do this, push down on it, like that. And that's pretty good. I still don't know what this is, what it is. I don't know if it's imitation leather or what, but just want to point that out. So even though it's not a hardcover, it is not giving me trouble when it comes to that. Thank God. Because a lot of times, some of these books be giving me trouble. So, let me read from 47. I think I was in the middle. gathered together to bring forth living creatures, birds, and fishes. And so it was done. The dumb and lifeless water produced living creatures, and it was commanded, so that therefore the nations might declare your wondrous works. Wow, that was 48 too. Didn't even know that. Okay, 49. So it says, then you kept in existence two living creatures. The one you call Behemoth, and has a C next to it. We'll check it out later. And the name of the other, Leviathan. And you separated one from the other for the seventh part, where the water had been gathered together, could not hold them both. And you gave Behemoth one of the parts that had been dried up on the third day, to live in it, where there are 1,000 mountains. But to Leviathan you gave the seventh part, the watery part, and you have kept them to be eaten by whom you wish and when you wish. On the sixth day, when you commanded the earth to bring forth before you cattle, I had to make sure I was reading that right, and wild animals, and creeping things, and over these you placed Adam as ruler over all the works that you had made. And from him we have all come, the people whom you have chosen. So I don't need to read it anymore, but basically, by the context, if you know the story of creation, you know that, well, first of all, there was nothing wrong in this translation. But if you have a KJV Apocrypha, it's gonna, the ones I've seen, they say where Behemoth is, they say Enoch. So if you was reading this one, you wouldn't have an issue. But this is what the C says. Other Latin authorities read Enoch. And when they say authorities, they mean manuscripts. So that's true. I've seen it. And I don't know why, but it says Enoch. And Enoch in the flesh wasn't created yet on the third day. Because the context shows on the third day that they was talking around this part. And when the sixth day came in, it was, so if you just read the context of it, there's no way it could have been Enoch in place of Behemoth. I don't know why some Latin authorities manuscripts say that. I don't know, but they fixed that issue in the NRSV, so you don't have to worry about that. The pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest, and more. And there's the H, there's the G, boom. Okay, so it says the passage from verse 36 to 105, formerly missing, has been restored to the text. So you get those missing verses. You do not get that in the KJV Apocrypha. I don't know if any KJV Apocryphas have updated that and gave you that or restored it. No, I don't know. I can't say. But it is a lot of them out there, and I don't think any of them have it. So if you would like that, that's in here as well. Now in Acts 12 verse 4, we have a correction. Because if you have a KJV, not a new KJV, I think the new KJVs might have fixed it. I'm not sure. I need to get one day. But you can, if whoever got one, if you want to let me know, you can. So it says, when, in verse 4, 12 verse 4 in Acts, it says, when he had seized him, he put him in prison and handed him over to 4 squads of soldiers to guard him, intending to bring him out to the people after the Passover. Now, if you have a KJV, it should say Easter instead of Passover. So that was something that I always want to check. Now, in the back, it's a concordance in the back, and that's it. There's nothing else back here. Now, this may be beneficial, may not be. I have not really looked through this, so I cannot say how beneficial or non-beneficial. I cannot say, but I'll just scroll through a little bit, But this can be useful. I don't really use concordances, so this wouldn't really do much for me, because I always find things another way. most of the time. So I can't say. And it goes from A to Z, I suppose. But the pages are so bent up in this one. This is not the people who sent the book. This book is years old. I forgot this. This is something that I'm very picky about, or at least picky about. So when it comes to the space at the tops of the pages, the sides, and the insides, and the bottom. If you see my reviews, you know I'm picky about that because oftentimes I like to write in my little cross references that they don't give me, or study information or any type of notes that I might want to. And if I don't have enough space in the insides, at the tops, the left, all of top, left, right, bottom, if I don't have enough space, I'm going to be unsatisfied. So I am not satisfied because I have to do like this to try to push and try to spread open the book to try to write something in there. Is too difficult. It's not even possible to me to write anything on the inside, so I couldn't use the inside. I could use the bottom, the top, and the left and the right, but I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit wider to do that. Like, I'll just give you an example. This one, it has a little bit more space on the right and the left. Now, I'm not saying that this one's perfect either. This is the JPS Hebrew English Tanakh. Now, on the insides, I can't do nothing with that. So that isn't perfect either. Neither of these Bibles are perfect when it comes to that. But they both have their uses. I would probably never sell this or give away this JPS Hebrew English Tanakh. But, they both have their uses. But neither of them are perfect enough for me to make my main Bible. But they both have their uses. And I do like the experience of having a Bible with words this big. I don't have to lean in. I do like that. I can sit back from where I am and read it just fine. A lot of my Bibles have small print, about 8-point print, something like that, like 7 through 9 print, which is like the average. But, I think this is like 11.5. I can deal with this. This is pretty good. I wouldn't mind having something like this with large print. It just makes it easier. But hey, I wanted to review this book again and get this out the way. So I didn't say who was over it. Zondervan. I forgot about that. I didn't even check the first few pages. I normally do. I haven't done a review in a while, y'all. But anyway. So here's the ISBN number in case you want to track this down exactly. If you need to do it this way, you can. If you want to be certain you got the right book, you can type this in the internet search bar, or you can go to a book website and then type it in their search bar and see if it pops up if they have it. If it doesn't pop up, it just means that that website doesn't sell this book. So that's my review for the NRSV XL edition with the Apocrypha. They do have larger print Bibles than this. They have, I think, the largest one I saw was like 18 point print font. I think that's what I saw. It is the biggest I've ever seen, but I don't have that Bible to review. But if you would like me to get a hold of it and review it, let me know. So that's it, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace be to the saints. I don't think I have anything else for y'all. Nah, I can't think of anything.